Hi everyone. So I've been talking with a few people about arrows, bows, gap shooting, split vision, instinctive. So I'm gonna try to kind of maybe in one video, if possible, explain this all at once. So first off, we're gonna assume your bow is set up with a proper arrow, proper spine, your weight, everything's perfect. So, gap shooting, which is better? That's the main question. Gap shooting, split vision, or instinctive? And what are they? Okay, I believe from my experience, gap shooting, split vision, and instinctive all have their purpose in shooting archery and learning the bow yourself, the arrow flight, all has its purpose. Okay, so now, first off, what are they? Gap shooting. So we're going to say this is dead zero. This is where we're aiming. Gap shooting is saying I stick my tip right here, which we're going to say the blocks, 3 blocks under to hit right here at, we're going to just say 20 yards. Probably not that, but hey, we're going to say that. That's what gap shooting is. I learned how far below or above my target I need to put this at any certain distance to hit my target. Now, where I disagree with this is because if I know exactly what my distance to this target is, I can gap shoot it. Now, if it's unknown and I have to split decision that, trying to go, well, I need it here, I gotta go 3 squares, because there's squares, down to hit here. That's where, to me, it doesn't work. If I know my feeder, yeah, I can gap shoot it all day long. Okay, so this is where split vision is. We've learned our arrow, we've learned our arrow flight path, and we know our bow. So for me, it's anywhere from 0 up to 20 yards, I split vision. So I can look down, stare at this spot, my eye takes notice of this arrow pointing, say here, left, right is too low, up or down. I can adjust the flight path. Even though I'm looking at it, my brain commutes. Oh, it's too low, it's too high, it's left, it's right. Send it to hit this one spot. Now, where instinctive for me is, I've learned everything. I've learned my distance at such and such yardage. For gap shooting, I've learned it at split vision. I practiced it enough. My eye, my brain knows just by looking down this arrow exactly where it's gonna go. Left, right, up, down. So as if I like throw a milk jug full of foam, my brain doesn't have time to go. It's 8 yards, it's 10 yards. I need to go this far below it to hit here. Doesn't have time. I pull it back, I send that arrow. That's instinctive. You have no time. You pull it back, send it, no matter where the tip is, your brain automatically knows that's where it's going. No matter the distance, that's instinctive. That's my opinion. Of course, we all know mine and yours are never going to be the same, most likely. Now, with that said, I can shoot instinctive. I can throw a target. If it's a new bow, new arrow setup, yeah, it may take me a few times to learn exactly how fast, where it's going, hit the target. Now, with that said, if I'm doing a fixed target, so 3D shoots that never moves, or a blind with a feeder set to a certain yardage, 20 yards, I can either split it or I can gap it. And what do I mean? Well, yeah, I can hit this right here with my point. I know it needs to be 3 squares below it. We're going to say 12 inches just because it makes it easy, a foot below the target. So I'm focusing on the tip of my arrow to that spot, 12 inches, or what I assume is 12 inches to hit here. That's where gap shooting comes in handy. If you know your target's roughly 18 yards, you can say it's 2 3/4. Vice versa, as you get farther, 30 yards, point on, 40 yards, so and so. So, in my opinion, because everything on YouTube is my opinion, I shoot all three ways. And I mean all three ways. If I throw a target, it's 100%. I just look at the target, follow the target, shoot it. There's no gapping. There's no, well, it needs to be here to hit right here. I mean, it just happens. Now, if I'm at 20 yards, I can learn the gap and say I'm aiming here to hit here. I can learn that. Makes it easy, makes it simple, as long as my target is not moving and is exactly that yardage, plus or minus 1 or 2. 3D, for sure. If you know your max is 30 yards, why go over it? So if I know my 30 yards, which for me is most time, give or take point on, depending the arrow weight to the bow poundage. So I use all three. We're gonna go and say, for instance, I'm gonna instinct a shot. They have a 3D tournament, but all of a sudden you don't know the yardage, the target drops. 100% instinct. I don't know the yardage. I don't know how fast it's going. I'm just gonna look at it and send the arrow. Now, the second one is 10 yards. I'm gonna split vision. So I'm gonna look at the target here, but I'm gonna take note of which way my tip of my arrow is. And I can kind of adjust from there and send it because it is a stationary target for me. 20 yards, same thing. Now, with my bow, when I start getting out to 30, 35, I am going to switch automatically to gap because my point of view, that arrow starts coming into view. I can see the tip. I know for me, most of my bows, 30 to 35, give or take the arrow weight to the poundage, is going to be dead on at 35. What's it tell me? Once I get 40, I'm still going to gap. I'm just going to start aiming higher above it. I'm going to learn that arch. My opinion, you need to take all three ways to shoot and make it your own. And that's what I do. If I'm throwing a target, 100% instinctive. I got to learn how fast this arrow goes and how far in that rate of time. Now, if I'm stationary, under 20 yards, it's split vision. I'm looking at that target, seeing here, but I can take note of the arrow if I need to. That's where if we take too long, we start fighting ourselves. Because you'll see it and you'll be like, oh, it looks too low, it looks right. And then we've all done it. We start fighting this sanction of the target and the arrow tip because we think we know. Our brain already knew, we just fought it. Gap shoot 30 plus yards. I'm gonna switch over. Nothing I can do. That tip is so far in my eyesight that I can't help it. If I wanted to shoot myself right now, I'm literally gonna put it on my forehead. I can't miss. If I make a mistake and it's farther than what I said, it's gonna drop in. If I happen to think it's farther than what it is, I'm gonna shoot a little high, but that's why I'm center mass. It gives me a little bit of error, left, right, up, and down. Hope this helps somebody. Y'all have a blessed day.